Hey everyone, this is John,
This is Caitlin.
and you're about to embark on episode 3 of Shootnami, which we really appreciate, and we know you're going to love this one. We wanted to have a quick disclaimer though before we start. So, at certain points throughout the episode, you might hear a soft, dulcet snoring in the background of some of our stretches of discussion. And we just wanted to let you know that we have a stubby little French bulldog who occasionally sleeps next to us while we record. And this time, the mic caught him crazy. So, if you hear that, you're hearing Bo, and please disregard as much as you can. I feel like it doesn't take away too much from the discussion, but it is definitely there. So, hope you enjoy the episode, and let's get it rolling. Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of the Shootnami podcast, the show that, unlike NXT, has not changed its name in order to appease the Israeli government. Yet, we're only a couple episodes in. Maybe we'll be forced to.
Yeah.
So we're coming to you after a week hiatus because we wanted to choose Crown Jewel weekends because I think that we had a bit of a rebound from where we left our previous WWE discussion, which was right on the heels of WrestlePalooza. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but I'm a bit more encouraged coming out of Saturday.
Yeah. I would say the same thing. I feel like this show got me in a couple of ways. I feel like I was really emotional during a couple of parts of the show.
For most of the show.
Yeah, which I would say like it's pretty rare when that happens, but yeah, I feel good about it. I know that anytime I start to feel really, really good about wrestling or WWE, they pull a fast one. Like next time we meet, we'll have
Just wait a few minutes.
yeah. Well, something will happen, and the high of this show will have worn off. But I really enjoyed this entire show. I think from end to end.
We're going to get into a little bit from Raw, the Go Home Raw, kind of serving as preamble for our dive into Crown Jewel. But beforehand, we were talking about which AEW pairings we would create for the new women's tag division.
Mm-hmm.
And the pairing that we talked about the most was your brilliant brainchild of Marina Shafir and Harley Cameron. And we talked about whether or not Marina Shafir would continue to be a mute, as she has been with the Death Riders, or at least, mostly mute.
Well, even further back when you were explaining to me like why she doesn't talk. So like, I think for me I was like, oh, well, she doesn't talk because she's like big brooding, like tough girl, like attitude, but you had let me know that like there had been a lot of like
I had posited a theory that her silence was intentional because of a promo that she had delivered, a very infamous one, at least for AEW fans, one that you had not ever seen before. And
yeah.
so during the episode, I said flippantly that we would go and we would rewatch that during the week that followed. And we did. And it was going to really just stay at that. But I think it was your reaction to it that really spurred this first discussion. And I'm not really sure how to frame it other than, well, I mean, let's start with the fact that I positioned it as something that was a negative, but you saw it and really loved it.
It spoke to me on so many levels because like it reminded me of like why I love wrestling so much because there's so many layers to it, and there's like this layer of camp that I think is just like accepted by wrestling fans as like part of what it is. But like I just found this promo that Marina Shafir did to be like just expertly expert levels of camp that like I love for a myriad of reasons. But again, like the average wrestling fan might just look at it and be like, "Oh, it sucks. She sucks at promos."
I actually have a transcript of the promo. It's brief. This is her debut promo. She's in Albany, which is her hometown, which is why she has the mic. And it goes like this. It goes a little something like this. Albany, my name is Marina Shafir, daughter of Disabella Shafir and Viennaman Shafir. And you welcomed us with open arms in '93 when we immigrated here from Moldova. You know me. All of you, all of you are a part of the problem. She was known as the problem when she came in. You don't know me. You don't know. You don't know nothing about me. Understand this. Understand this. When the violins play, violence is always on the way. That's the end of the promo, but like during that middle part and end, there's a lot of screaming of the same things and also kicking of the turnbuckles.
She flips out at the turnbuckles.
According to this transcript, also, she got repeated shouts of "You don't know me." I'm not sure if that's coming from her or the crowd. The crowd seemed pretty confused for this. This was my reaction when I saw this promo, but you loved it. And I think that that's so interesting because it really goes to show how wrestling is such a malleable art form that can be appreciated in a number of different ways.
I mean, she's wearing like a straw hat. Like
That's right.
it wasn't even like a cowboy hat.
I should have began with that.
It was like a Forever 21 hat that was made out of straw. Like it was completely random, and she just looked like right out of like a John Waters movie, like John Waters and Divine's daughter, like angry daughter from Moldova. And it was just, I thought it was so funny and so brilliant. And like, I thought her flipping out at the end, she really thought this was going to go over and like believed it to the very end. She just saw it through. And like, I just find so many things about this entire thing so charming. Like everything about it was fantastic to me. Like her last line when the violins play, the what was it, the violence
When the violins play, violence is most certainly on the way.
on the way.
Which I'm not gonna lie, like I really did like the wordplay.
No, it's but like this is the thing. Is like it's camp. Like it's absolutely it's bad. It's bad for sure. Like it's bad to the average person. But when you look for bad, when bad has like a spectrum, like it can be so bad that it's good, right? Like it's the same in with wrestling, it's there, it's everywhere, right? It's so bad that it's good.
Right.
It's not go away heat for me. It's like truly like when is she coming back and like what is she gonna do? And it's kind of like, remember when like the first time Ricochet ever was like, aha, and everybody was like barfing about it, and I was like, no, just wait. Like I think this is like the thing that's going to make him like super over. And it's like one of those things where it's like somebody takes a chance and believes in like the bad thing that they did, believes in it so hard, and like it becomes so bad that it's good. And like I think that this promo, it's such a shame that this didn't go anywhere for me, like as an AEW fan, like, I would have seen this version of Marina Shafir all the way fucking through.
Right.
You know?
I mean, that is a very important point, is that this was one and done for her.
Yeah.
So Ricochet, and the difference being is that he was a, high profile signing from WWE. You obviously want to show him in a great light
Mm-hmm.
because you want to be able to use him as a case study for anybody else that's discontent, that
Right.
maybe wants to jump brands.
Yeah.
So you're obviously going to give him plenty of time, plenty of chances at the plate. And Marina, she is not the first person in the history of wrestling to deliver a dud promo.
Right.
In fact, all of your favorites have,
Like,
at one point or another.
it's artful badness. You know, it's
Right.
like it's bad in the form of like an artistic choice. And like, I think that with Marina Shafir, it's such a shame because like what ended up happening to her is one of my least favorite things in wrestling, which is you are going to never talk. You are going to be a strong woman wrestler, just being on the sidelines for like a bunch of dudes that are like really go away heat for the company, but like who are in every main event. They're in every match, you know, like,
And a bunch of dudes who can't talk as well.
I was shocked when you showed me this promo because I was like, that was fucking hilarious. Like, this was fucking good. Like, this is so funny. Like, and not just because I'm laughing at her. Like, I genuinely think that like she was in on it. Like, I truly think she was in on it because she took it all the way there and like just totally committed to it, and there was no shaking or like,
Oh, no, that's a great point.
you know, like there was no like
Convicted.
like no, you know how like when Charlotte Flair like looks at the audience and like gets shaken from being booed, like she was not even a little bit shaken.
No, she was ready to fight everybody in Albany that night.
Everyone in the audience. And like I just I love that energy. You do not see that energy from a lot of female wrestlers, and I just think it was stellar and I thought it was awesome. And like, and the hat, and it was like showgirls. It's like watching Nomi Malone storm out of 32 scenes in that movie. It's like, yeah, you're right. 32 is a lot, but like she is angry in every single one of them.
She never relents.
She doesn't, and it's just, I don't know. That's my spiel. I don't want to keep going about it because I did appreciate that you wanted to die. Was it better on the on the second view, or was it just as bad as the first time you watched it?
I think ultimately it's still
Bad.
I wouldn't say I would say that it's not how I would kick off my introduction to the AEW fan base.
For sure.
But it's hard to condemn it when you don't give it any space to evolve.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's really where I land, is
Yeah.
that I don't think that we should be ever, as fans, finding ourselves in a position where we are basing our perception of a talent off one or two nights.
This is the longest time anybody's ever talked about Marina Shafir.
For what it's worth, Marina, maybe you'll be listening one day. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you are, just know that in this room right now, we see you. And we hope to see more of you.
And I hope to see you with a specific tag team.
That's right. That's right. Paging Harley Cameron.
Yeah, for sure.
So that about wraps it up for our little opening trial. We have a lot of shows to get to, so we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back with Crown Jewel weekend. We are back. It is Crown Jewel weekend. We are not in Riyadh because we will be in Riyadh for pretty much every other show for the foreseeable future, starting with the Royal Rumble in February or January. I'm not really sure where they're having it these days. But just to kick things off, for Raw, what things really stood out to you? And then follow-up question, why was it Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupri?
I was just about to say, is it pretty obvious?
It's so obvious.
Yeah, that match was crazy. I've just been watching Becky face off with like all of these other wrestlers that they're just trying to push so hard. And I just have, I mean, personally, I'm not feeling Lyra Valkyria with her. I haven't been feeling Bailey with her. Like, Becky has been really stealing the show with this, like, heel turn. She's been so hard to, like, look away from that I haven't really seen a Becky Lynch match that didn't just make me want to watch her part of it.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so this match, I couldn't believe it, but I was watching Maxine Dupree more than I was watching Becky Lynch. And I thought that alone really spoke volumes to like how I feel like Maxine Dupree has been slept on. Like big time slept on.
So I noted this when we were watching the match, and I think it's important to reiterate here. Um, this match received more "This is awesome" chants than Cena and Lesnar and Rhodes and McIntyre combined
Yeah,
at
for sure.
WrestlePalooza, which I think is telling for me. I'm sure that most people that are in Gorilla Raw are probably not thinking that at all, but I think they should.
Yeah.
The way that this match was booked, it was, you know, that ends on a count out, and the ref really telegraphs it with a very rushed count at the end. Um, and they have a backstage segment later on in the episode where she's complaining about Jessica Carr,
Mm-hmm.
the referee,
Yeah.
and how she's crooked and all of this. It's the match result is meant to further shape her persona and maybe spin off, a little bit of a storyline or some sort of rivalry between her and that referee specifically. So even then, Maxine is not the focus, but Maxine pulled the focus in a way that I don't think that I've seen since you and I went to SmackDown in Chicago and Chelsea Green won the Money in the Bank qualifying match by pinning Bianca Belair, I
Mm-hmm.
think. Uh, you know, it, it didn't get as much of a pop as CM Punk
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning of the show, but it was surprisingly close. And
Yeah.
I think there's these rare instances where the audience is genuinely shocked when the book goes in the direction that they want it to go in, and that was one of those instances.
Yeah.
I think what made people really love about Maxine, or at least I'm going to say what I love about her, is that she's still so green, but she is electrifying because of her clear passion.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about her is that she will go for it
Mm-hmm.
every single time. And I thought that this match was such a beautiful opener for this episode because, like this episode, it was both messy and electrifying, and it gave me life. I have here that it gave me and all of Dallas life. And I'll just end on this. And then if you have any closing thoughts, you can share them as well. Because I feel like we could talk about this for a very long time. Because we love our girl Maxine. We love to see her in a spot. What we also talked about last week was ways to position new talent in the women's division in AEW. And I thought that this match here was an excellent blueprint for AEW to do that.
Yeah.
Because we have someone who is established and someone who is, as you mentioned, actively sucking the oxygen out of the room because of her
Talent.
currently her talent, her innate talent. She is currently, the women's intercontinental champion, seemingly forever champion. She's being booked in the main event with her husband and CM Punk and AJ Lee. She is everywhere, but
Yeah.
she's using that to then provide a platform for somebody, to not just make them look good, but to really have an incredibly physical match where they just go for it together. And she uses her already established reputation for one of the top female wrestlers and top wrestlers of that company
Yeah.
to show that Maxine, while not, matching her beat for beat, can hang with her. And it provides just enough of a glimpse that it makes you curious and it makes you want to see her again. And I think that this is the type of blueprint that every promotion should follow, male or female, when they're trying to position newer talent.
I'll say the only thing that I will complain about for this match was there were, I think, two pretty distinct times where the ref counted to three
Yes,
when
yeah.
when Maxine had pinned Becky. And the end of the match ends up with Maxine taking the win, but like, I feel like even just like 4 minutes in, like there was kind of like a botch situation where like it was pretty evident that like, you know, she probably should like what did Cole keep calling her like fast count or something like that because
Yeah,
of the Dupree match.
yeah. There was a little bit of haziness. There was at least one near fall that got me out the chair.
Yeah, oh yeah. And like both of us were like we were very like I think pissed that I mean I honestly it was a short match anyway, but like it would have been even shorter if they had just like ended the match. So I'm glad they didn't, but it was like yeah, she counted to three and Maxine had pinned Becky for sure. I was looking at like ratings for this match and like people were pissed that it wasn't like technically sound. I don't that's not why I enjoyed this match. This match was all about the story and Maxine Dupree coming up and finally getting her own like chance, and I just loved it. For me it was like a total, I'll say 4.5 for me.
Yeah, and you know what? On the technically sound note, I think that that probably ties into the Marina Shafir segment that we talked about
Yeah,
earlier. I feel like,
like that's not why I appreciate this.
yeah, but
It's
I feel like it's
some of
also,
it, but not all of it.
I agree. And I think that it's also a very convenient moving goalpost for a certain subset of fans to be able to pigeonhole or delegitimize certain talent that they just don't see anything themselves.
Yeah,
And then based on that alone, they assume that no one else does either.
yeah,
So I think that with with Shafir it was the promo, but with Maxine it's always it's the in ring with her.
yeah,
You know,
totally.
so I really think that's what I love about this more than anything is that it's someone who gets virtually no chance to showcase themselves,
Mm,
getting a chance to get better.
yeah,
It's an opportunity, or it's a rare instance of WWE sticking with someone as instead of just releasing them.
yeah,
And I think that that's something that they really should, at least with kind of that lower stake tier, where it's like if they work out, it's great. If they don't, so be it. If you can invest time in them and they're getting a reaction one way or the other, then I think that they should give them more opportunities to show that progression.
mm-hmm, yeah,
Because a lot of these people, because I remember Becky Lynch when she first debuted on NXT, just had like the full on Irish lass
yeah.
shamrock green gimmick. I mean,
Little Seamus.
it was girl Sheamus, girl Sheamus.
Oh my god.
And so, she progressed from that. And I think that's someone as passionate about as Maxine Dupree. You're going to have to show me you've plateaued
Yeah.
before I will assume that you plateaued for me.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually a good point. Like they've kept her around for a really long time and I think it was worth the payoff if it leads up to kind of like a new rivalry cuz again, the rivalries with Becky have just kind of fallen flat for me, so I'm really excited for the next couple. Hopefully they actually do something with it and they don't just
Hey,
drop it.
if it gets a reaction and you gave me 4 months of Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch and this in one night we topped that critical mass, so I think that they should definitely see where this goes. The only other part of Raw that really stood out to me was the CM Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso promo. And I have here that this was truly, or at least began as a segment just for me. Someone wrote this just for me because it starts with Punk giving an MJF nod by saying, "I'm the best in the world. I'm better than you, and everybody knows it."
Oh my god. So cute.
followed immediately by LA Knight's music.
Yeah, this is like this for you. You're right. I should have caught that, but you're right.
This was the rare MJF Punk LA Knight triumvirate Triforce, and I was electrified by it. And I had no idea where this was going. I was so happy to see these two on the mic with each other. I was a little worried for my boy LA Knight. I think some of those fears were borne out a little bit. For the first time, we're going to issue our inaugural Shootnami warning.
Oh yeah.
And the Shootnami warning is a little adage from us here at the show, something that we're going to apply to situations where we believe there might be some actual heat. And I'm willing to come off of this a little bit because this past week I saw clips of LA Knight and CM Punk in a series of dark matches, a little more towards the beginning of CM Punk's run. And they seem to work well together, at least from the footage that I saw. But that might have also been in the early days of, I'm just coming off of my AEW tenure and I'm going to play nice with everybody. Something about the way that Punk reacted to LA Knight really gave me the sense that he just did not view him as that guy.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. Because like we watched a clip of them like hugging it out, like they're bros, and
Right.
so I imagine that they get along pretty well. But this seemed a little bit real when they were talking.
A couple of things. It was, the 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 moment that everybody will probably remember is the is when LA Knight is telling him that every encounter with Seth Rollins him has ended with Seth pinning CM Punk right in the middle of the ring,
Mm-hmm.
and then him saying, "Do you know who has never, not ever, not ever, 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 not never pins LA Knight?" And then CM Punk quickly fires back with probably the person who's never won the world championship, to a huge
Like pause,
exclamation
right?
from. He really put him in a T pose on that one.
Yeah, he short circuited, I think, for like 15
It's always the
seconds.
worst thing when you can only do when somebody says something like that to you and all you can just do is the smirk and the
Yeah.
nod.
Well, and like I don't know.
Response loading.
Yeah, and for LA Knight, like LA Knight is really like pretty quick and pretty usually pretty sharp when it comes to the promo stuff. So to see that was a little disheartening.
This really showed the rifts,
I really,
the difference between the tiers.
yeah, I really wanted to see them go back and forth and really like heat that place up. And it just, it's kind of something that proved how I've been feeling about LA Knight for a little while now, because I do love LA Knight. I love some of his old stuff that, you've shown me, and he's really funny, but like I've been kind of disappointed with his like inability to just have heat or like have like any kind of meaningful rivalry with anyone. It kind of seems like he floats in and out of different things, and like for a while I was like, why aren't they using him? Why can't they? And then I started to realize like he just isn't at the same level. Like he's very entertaining, but he's like this promo. It's just he is not at the same level as some of these other top guys. But I do like seeing him. I think that when he was at WrestlePalooza, I can't remember, but when he was in the ref position,
Yeah.
perfect. It's like he floats. He put him in a put him in a referee situation and then build him up later. I just think that like I don't know, he's been kind of a floater and just hasn't been doing like the level of like drama that I think a lot of us like require from some of these like big giant matches and rivalries.
Yeah, and I think Punk was letting us know that. I think with that little verbal jab, and also there was a moment where he just kind of walked away from him,
Yeah, yeah.
which I thought was even more devastating
Like,
than
yeah, just like
yeah, because at least with the first one, he's engaging with you.
he's already dead,
Right, right. The walking away when he was talking with Jey Uso who had come out at this point, just as this kind of like this fucking guy.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
If I were LA Knight, that would have maybe uh elicited me going and having a chat there. Hey, buddy, maybe don't walk away from me when I'm trying to get this whole thing off the ground here.
But that's the thing.
He sandbagged him a little bit.
But that's CM Punk, dude. Like CM
That's
Punk.
CM Punk.
That is why people fucking can't stand him. It's like
Or
why.
why people love him.
Like, well, it's why the audience loves him. But like, it's why you hear so many like tales of people not getting along with him in the locker room and stuff because it's like he will do what's best for business, and that was best for business. Like he wanted to like elevate himself above everyone else in that ring, and he did that, and just the people who can't stand up to it are the people that end up kind of getting forgotten about, and I've been forgetting about LA Knight, and it's I don't think it's any coincidence. I think that is totally intentional, and you know, I think LA Knight just needs maybe like a drop more of authenticity and like real behind this like character, and maybe he could really do something fun with it, but he's got to take a note from that book.
Do you know how they always say that acting is listening?
Mm-hmm.
When LA Knight does a promo, I feel like
Listen.
he doesn't listen.
Yeah,
He
he's
seems like a guy who he knows that he wants to hit his specific beats,
yes.
and sometimes when it's not going in the cadence that he anticipates, which is almost every time because it's live television.
Right. It's live.
We're live, pal.
Exactly.
It seems like he
Steamrolls.
steamrolls, he gets rushed out of his spots.
Yeah.
And it makes me wince every time because I every time he's on the mic, I'm like a dance mom.
Yeah, you want him to do well.
My hands are at my chin, and I'm just like I'm like mouthing the lines for him, and I'm just hoping that he just puts it together in a way that I know he can. Because when he was trying to get over at when he first came aboard, when he first got the LA Knight gimmick back, because they tried to make him like the head of a male model agency.
Oh yeah, totally.
But when he finally reclaimed his namesake, some of those promos are just absolutely legendary with how unhinged he gets. So like he's got it in him. And I hope that,
Comes back.
I mean, honestly, like if you're gonna have anybody like bring that out of him, it's CM Punk, because he did it with Drew McIntyre. I mean, he has a way, love him or hate him, of historically bringing the best out of the people that he does business with.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was why I was really excited to see him with LA Knight.
I hope he can like put like I hope he can like ride the tails and like learn things from him, because yeah, I completely agree. It's like that's exactly what LA Knight needs. He needs like a swift kick in the ass by somebody who is like just unafraid.
Yeah, and the whiffs of a Shootnami between these guys is exciting.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I hope it's not the case, because I don't want prohibitive heat between these two, because I feel like has a lot to teach him.
I know, but like sometimes I don't know, you need tough love. It's like the best way
That's
to
what I
teach.
think too.
Tough teachers are the ones that you
That's
learn
what
the most from. So
I agree. I think when he walked away, that's how I felt initially. I was like, not good enough.
yeah, totally.
You're gonna have to get my attention back, which is like a good scene partner.
Yeah, totally.
You're just like, you're not being compelling enough, so I'm gonna go over here and just pour a glass of water.
Yeah,
You have to pull me back into this scene.
it's like when John Cena said that to Roman Reigns. Hey, it's called a
It's
promo.
called for you're gonna be the big dog.
Gotta learn how to do it.
It's exactly. Shut your mouth, John.
At least he didn't do that.
He might have. It
He,
still might happen. Last note on this, and then we can move off Raw unless you have something that you want to go over.
oh, that's fine. I'm good.
I was only surprised that this promo really set up like the future title picture, and we really did not have any connection with this and the events of Crown Jewel.
Yeah, no, this was very separate, and it seemed odd too that like the Usos came into this because they were so prominent in the Crown Jewel like opener match
Yeah.
that it was like, why did you guys even do that? Like, I don't know. I would have probably preferred to just watch like an angry promo between CM Punk and LA Knight and keep the Usos completely out of it.
Yeah.
It just like we didn't need it, even though people love to eat and stuff.
Well, they've got Jey Uso. They've got him in a couple of pawns right now.
Yeah.
And I think the most compelling one is the tipped heel turn and kind of I mean, albeit a rehash of previous bloodline stories of whether or not he will listen to Roman Reigns or will follow his own path. I still think that's the more compelling thing that they have for him right now. But they also have him with the Vision. And it is just not clear what his path is right now, and it's certainly not clear when he is doing these promos that seem like big deals, but then when you get to your big show, there really doesn't seem to be any ramifications or any influence on the events of the show, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts on Raw. We're going to take another break, and then after that, we're going to go to the main event for the evening, Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. Okay, so here we are. Saturday. Saturday at 7 in the motherfucking morning. Grab your coffee. Because it's Crown Jewel and it's in Perth. Like I mentioned, I thought that this was the shot of life that they really needed after coming off of a pretty universally panned WrestlePalooza. I don't think that every match was perfect, but I think that this was much closer to that spectacle that they really need to apply to these PLE events in order to justify the jump to the ESPN app. We start off the night with an Australian street fight between Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns.
It just means there's a garbage can and there's a stop sign.
Well, we have that, but it's an Australian street fight, so we also have a cricket bat and a rugby
Oh,
ball.
that's true. That's right. I forgot about those.
But this is my first note. For a street fight, sparing use of weapons.
Yeah, there was, and that's why I was kind of joking about it because it was like there really isn't. I mean, other than they fight outside of the ring, there really wasn't like a. They picked up a garbage can. They picked up a rugby bat. Was it?
That's right. A rugby ball that
Oh
Roman
yeah, chuck that.
threw at Paul Heyman.
And didn't he chuck another one at Bronson Reed, but he kind of like missed,
Yeah.
like missed it, so it like didn't land. Yeesh. Yeah,
So, I mean, this match was really just similar to the matches that, they either had as like a tag team or with the Vision and the Usos at WrestlePalooza or with was it the six way that's at SummerSlam?
yeah,
Um, this was essentially the same structure as that. The Vision and the Usos, after a certain point, interfered in the match. I think everybody's expecting that.
yeah,
You're not really expecting the finish until you see a run in. The match ends with Jay accidentally spearing Roman through a table, allowing Reed to get the win after the tsunami. And then we have a big aftermatch with Roman and Jimmy and Jay kneeling in the ring, dejected. Um, fighting with one another, seemingly tipping some bloodline dissension. I don't know how excited I am to backslide into these old bloodline stories.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this before.
You absolutely have. Years of it.
Yeah, well,
Years of it.
I mean, I've probably seen like 2 rounds of it, you know. But yeah, like I feel like it was very familiar, and it sucks because I feel like I watched Jey Uso do this whole thing where he was like better on his own, and he like soared and like went to the top of the company, and like people love doing his theme song, and I don't know, he had a couple like little bouts of, failure, but like for the most part he's been super over, and like I I don't know, bringing him back in on this, it just seems like a waste. I don't know, unless he's just, he had a touch of the spotlight and likes to be with his brother, or I don't know. I'd like to understand like his reasoning for it, but unless he really like they're building up for like Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, and like WrestleMania or something. But
See, I mean, it's possible, but at the same time, like we've done this. We've done this before. This was the instigating feud that really kicked off the whole Bloodline storyline
yeah,
because the first measure of Roman Reigns' dominance was not just him winning the Universal Championship. It was the creation of the bloodline. It was bringing in his cousins into the fold and creating a following.
yeah,
And part of that was, really breaking the will of Jay and, making him a subservient member under him.
mm-hmm,
So it feels like this storyline was really centering on how much influence Roman has over Jay, which was the instigating aspect of the original storyline back in 2019, twenty
yeah,
twenty. So, I really think that here it makes me nervous. I think that they, in short order, really need to start showing how this story is going to be nuanced and a deviation from the stuff that they've done previously because the WWE fans, for as being as, in a lot of ways blindly loyal as they are, they do pay attention.
yeah,
And I don't think this is one of those things where you can just skate a rehash of like the biggest story they've told in the last decade past them.
mm-hmm,
The thing is that I have a lot of faith in those three
mm-hmm,
as in-ring storytellers. They are the ones that created that storyline to begin with, so I'm sure they know that. But because that's the case, and because I have that faith in them, it really is odd to see this backslide into something that is so familiar. So um, that was what really this match left me with. A lot of people are in the instant reaction that I'm seeing are obviously talking about how Bronson Reed is the only person other than Cody Rhodes to have pinned Roman Reigns clean,
mm-hmm.
um, which makes you wonder. We've been thinking of the Vision as kind of the project to build Braun Breaker, but maybe it's Bronson Reed after all.
Oh, I really? Braun Breaker kind of seems like the second in command guy to
Right,
Bronson Reed. Like,
right. But all the while that we're thinking that, Bronson Reed is the one being booked with Roman. He's now the one that's pinned him. And it makes you wonder if maybe this is going into like the storyline down the road of a potential rift in the Vision itself, where Braun Breaker is constantly being positioned as the actual future. And then maybe Bronson Reed now has the gripe of, but I'm the one actually delivering the results, which I think could be a very interesting seed.
yeah.
We'll have to see. I think that's more interesting to me than the Bloodline stuff, Bloodline 2.0 stuff, or I guess it would be 3.0 by this point.
Well, they kind of teased that, like, if Seth Rollins didn't win the match, that, like, he would be out, or that he
Yeah.
wouldn't. And I mean, I think the same thing goes for any of the, the group. I feel like Bronson Reed is just proven to be the strongest and, like, best competitor, even though like Braun Breaker is like killer, you know, like he's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be the logical choice for the to be the anointed one, but because that's the case, I just think it's interesting that Bronson is being positioned so highly. So let's let's keep a pin in that, and let's actually start to view the vision in a way where Bronson is on the same plane
Hmm.
as Braun Breaker, because I really think that that's something that they're tipping. So we're going to move on to the second match of the night. We have the Women's Crown Jewel Championship with Women's World Champion Stephanie Vicaire defeating WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton. Um, I really only had this as it's just another notch in Stephanie's belt.
Yeah,
I mean, this ascent is crazy.
yeah, I think that she is about to go crazy. They're gonna give her everything. I think we're gonna see a Vicaire and Ripley at WrestleMania set up. I mean, it's the only.
It is wild, isn't it? How for all of the accolades and success, and even 15 months, it just still feels like we're not even at the summit yet.
Oh yeah,
We're not
this
even close to where they're trying to get her, and it's wild.
it feels like she is going to be like baby Rhea Ripley, and it would be really even better to watch them team up. But I hope that they put those two either together in a rivalry or into like a team, because they are so electric, and they're so perfect and so good at what they do, and so like you cannot look away from either of those women. And I just put Rhea Ripley in here because there really hasn't been a woman so far that has even kind of like breached Rhea's like level, you know, and I really feel like Stephanie can.
It just seems like every week or every month there's another spot where you're just like, man, she's right there. She's in the mix with just this upper crust, and I think obviously like that feud with Rhea is gonna be like the next important step in it. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much more other than the fact that I'm being continuously blown away by this, and the in ring work just continues to validate it. I mean, she's just so sharp
Yeah.
that I mean once again hits just like a picture perfect like corkscrew moonsault, which I think is called the spiral tap. I'm not when no one's really sure what she's calling it yet. I think that she needs a name for it because people are really loving that move. Um, the only other thing that I had was just from like being a nerd, and that's that Tiffany got the Bailey chant, which I thought was really interesting. Um,
What's the which one?
So that's a chant that she'll get from time to time in international shows, and then she did it when she was in NXT. But it's basically like, and I'm not gonna do it justice, but it's something like "Hey, baby, ooh, wow, oh, oh, can you be my girl?" She gets that all the time. In fact, when she was a heel a few years ago, there's this really funny uh, segment in one of her matches. I can't remember which one, where she's trying to heal it up for the crowd, but they just, as she continues to try and do that, they continue chanting that at her, and her trying to like break them of it just intensifies the chant even more to the point where it actually forces her to break character.
Oh my god.
The crowd has always loved her, and they've always given that's always been like a specifically Bailey chance
Mhm.
in WWE. So like Tiffany getting it was just very like, that's interesting. So, I mean, not obviously material to like the results or the booking aspect, but I feel like that was a little bit of a win for Tiffany. I think that people respond to her really well, even though she took the loss here.
Yeah. Well, and I think it is just crown jewel. Like I do have to like also put an emphasis on like this was a good belt for Vicaire to win, because I feel like out of all the belts, this is the one that usually I think means the least.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, they
right.
don't even let you keep it for the year. You get a ring instead,
You get a ring because I'm
which you show off the week after the show, and then you basically never see it again. Except for
never talk about it
I
again.
imagine like there were probably a couple times where Cody broke it out because he's just like that.
I just think that like this is usually a pretty meaningless show, so like it's a perfect one to kind of give to like a new up and coming,
Yeah,
talent. And I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve everything, but I think they have to be careful with not like burning her too quickly, Like
yeah, that's a great point.
I really want to see her still continue to like learn and like bump and lose and like I don't want to see her do like a Mercedes Monet situation where like
Yeah,
you have this new face and she just like sweeps the entire roster. Like that's not fun either. So like, I'm glad that she won this, but I'm also really hopeful that they like play their cards right with her because she's really special and she needs to be like slow rolled here, Just I know everybody loves her and just she's addicting to watch, but yeah, I think starting her, maybe like I said, putting her in a tag or doing something that kind of like delays her like big moment is going to be the best like course of action for her. But yeah, that was my only thought. I totally cried um at the end of this as I did when she won the other belt. I was super emotional every time that she takes the mic. There's just something really like earnest and sweet about
yeah.
what she says and
It's so nice to see people that you can tell that it really means something to them, and every single time you can tell the genuine emotion behind the win.
yeah,
And I think it really adds to her mystique and her aura, and I think people really respond to it. And we continue to be happy for her.
yeah,
I do agree with you that I think that she needs a foil at some point. She needs to have some sort of resistance on her path in her ascendancy because you know, we want her to be compelling and we want her to root for her as much as to celebrate her continued, meteoric rise. But at some point, it will have to be challenged. So I hope that they find a creative way to do that. You mentioned that you cried during the match and
I
that you're going to be
cried.
crying for this next match as well, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Match of the night, hands down. Possibly a match of the year contender.
Oh, this was absolutely like a contender for match of the year, if not the match of
It's
the
gonna
year.
be one that when I think back on the year, this is gonna be one of the matches that immediately comes to mind, and that's John Cena and AJ Styles. AJ seemingly responded to the online criticism of the booking of this match, saying that there was no real story behind it. He said, quote, "We don't need a story. It writes itself. It will kick ass." And I was dubious of it on Monday, but after Saturday, I can tell you that he wasn't lying.
Well, this is my thought, and this match deserves probably entire episode because of how many references and things there were.
I
But
mean, we fucking might later on.
might
Stay
be
stay
ready.
tuned for that as well. We're gonna do the quick and dirty route here, but I mean, honestly, like I imagine that we will revisit this at the end of the year when we start talking best ofs.
So I calling back to like my rant about John Cena's goodbye tour and like how I've just been so disappointed and kind of irritated with like how they've planned it despite telling everyone how meticulously planned it was and how they had 7,000 different ways to go and they talked about all of them and John Cena was involved and The Rock was involved, blah, 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 all of that stuff. I feel like it's been a big failure. It's been kind of, it's been too long. it's,
Yeah,
it's been just a drudge, really. And it shouldn't be because John Cena is amazing and his career is amazing and he's an amazing promo and wrestler, all the things. There's no reason that it should have gone this way. But my
But
my opinion on this match is that I would have traded in the entire
yeah,
John Cena retirement tour for this match. If not, maybe 3 matches that are like this, right? Like, pick 3, him and Punk, him and AJ Styles, and then him and fill in the blank. Like, I would have traded in the last, like, 6 fucking months for matches like this.
yeah. I think that there. I don't think anything has been as disqualifying of the idea of him as the goat of wrestling than the past 9 months of this retirement tour.
Yeah.
There's a thing in like sports where they talk about how if you stick around too long, you can play yourself out of the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And I really started to feel at a certain point this is where we were going. I mean, obviously, like John Cena is a first ballot. He's just, he's getting into the Hall of Fame probably as soon as next year. That's probably the real true culmination of all of this is him
Yeah.
is him being admitted into the Hall of Fame. I wouldn't be surprised if that was how they, ended the night on December 13th in this final match.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so all that ultimately is a moot talking point, but I mean, really, like this was something that, like you said, should not have left as many fans, even true life. I mean, like I've never been like a diehard Cena fan in the way that a lot of these people are, but even they were just really discontent with the way that things were going. And this match really brought home how insanely overthought all of this was.
Mm-hmm.
This showed me that this is exactly what it should have been the whole time. A series of feel-good exhibitions and references to wrestling's history.
Right. Oh, yeah. And, like, you can have a little bit of, like him and CM Punk, I think, was the next best thing to this, where, like, they both paid tribute to, like, each other's, like, big moments, and, like, the pipe bomb and
Yeah.
the rap and all that. Like, that was very charming and sweet, and I think that, like, plays into the same, like, category of just, like, a wrestler who deserves a Hall of Fame induction. And, like, what better way to do that than to have these 2, like, incredible, like, artists, these wrestling artists, like, paint with everybody's styles. It was just stellar. And I cannot even believe I was disarmed so quickly with this match, because I was ready to be like, I'm gonna just, like, sit on my phone for this.
Right. I'm gonna research Stephanie McCare.
Right, right. I was so ready to just be like, this is gonna be another snoozer, and I don't care about this at all. But I actually do know better. I've warmed up to AJ Styles in the past, like, couple of months.
Oh, between this and the Kabuki Warriors trio, like,
And then the Dominic Mysterio stuff, like, I feel like I've really warmed up to AJ Styles. So, like, I was like, okay, all right, AJ Styles and John
yeah.
Cena. It can't be that bad.
We talked during WrestlePalooza about when I was going through making the edit. You had noted that Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky was the match that you show a wrestling or a fan or a person that doesn't watch wrestling.
Yes.
That match between Io and Stephanie represented the skill of wrestling, and I thought that this one represented the art of wrestling.
Yeah.
I thought it was so smart to emphasize the impact and the tenure and the legacy of these two by framing it through all of the references of their greatest feuds and just the showing the breadth and the scale and the sprawl of how much these two have touched wrestling history. And they did it through this medley of finishing maneuvers. And I'm just going to go ahead and just quickly outline some of the more notable ones. I started with the Walls of Jericho, and not only the move itself, that high Boston crab, but also the Michael Cole mention. We had callbacks to Samoa Joe who's going to be headlining AEW's Wrestle Dream next week.
Yep.
We had callbacks to The Miz, to Sting, to Rusev. We had a Sister Abigail near fall that was, I mean, you want to talk about out the chair?
This one made me actually emotional.
Oh my God! And then with the fireflies in the background, like as the match was going, I was like, again, just a quintessentially wrestling moment. It's just that these are the things that you love this shit for, and just finally, when you thought it was all over, a fucking Deadeye, an Adam Page Deadeye.
Oh yeah.
There's only one person who does that move, and it was just incredible to me to to see that as well, and to just so between these references to this wall breaking that happened during this match, it's something that only two guys at this company could have done, and it was only in this match in which they could have done it, and it just represents a level of latitude that you don't normally see, a level of like creative expression. This was so fun, and I think that the greatest sin of all of this retirement tour was that we could have been doing this, but we were so concerned about how this is going to tie into the larger lore of WWE. When we talked about WrestlePalooza, I briefly fantasy booked this scenario about John Cena being the founder of the Vision, and how we could have tied in his retirement with the larger storylines and helped get other talent over and all this. And when I see this, I realize like that was the problem, was that
Mhm.
we felt like we had to do that, when in actuality this should be a celebration and not like another wrinkle in the narrative.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm honestly glad that we at least got to this point. And honestly, if you give me four more dates that are just like this, I'll just go ahead and pretend that the Cena retirement was only a couple months long and remembered fondly.
Yeah, totally. And I have to say too, like one of my favorite things, and it doesn't happen very often, but when like him, John Cena and AJ Styles like finished the match and like helped each other up and then hugged it out. I think it's like moments like that like I really actually very much enjoy when two wrestlers have like a mutual respect and just congratulate each other on what they just did. It doesn't, you don't want to do it all the time, obviously, but no. Like in this circumstance, it was perfect and it was so like amazing to watch them just drop any of the shtick that had been the John Cena tour and just like, say goodbye, essentially, and that was what made such a fantastic ending to this. And like, I just one more note about the Bray Wyatt tribute. I think it was similar kind of emotion when like he landed that Sister Abigail move, and I think he kind of paused at the corner and kind of looked up,
Yeah.
and I think he almost like, maybe I was the one that was crying, but like I think he kind of was like a little bit emotional too.
Oh, for sure.
And just I don't know, just I can't imagine what it felt like for him to be doing this match. Like I just cannot even imagine, after a career that he's had, to just have this like straight tribute match one after another, and just one emotional tribute after the other with this other expert wrestler. I think it might have been totally the match of the year, and I don't know how you could really top it.
Yeah. It's just absolutely magnificent. I mean, the balloting remains open. The year is not done, but
Edge and Jericho are coming back for for round 2 and 3.
The triple threat of John Cena, Edge, and Chris Jericho will probably top it, but that's not for another month or two. So
Yeah.
in the penultimate match, we have Rio,
Riho.
the good Rio. We have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defeating the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. Surprisingly physical match. I have here that Asuka was really laying it in, but then I later amended that because at the end of the match, I realized that everybody was laying it in. Everybody was absolutely whooping each other's ass.
I don't know. Asuka seemed to be like really like
She was on one.
I feel like I noticed it from her the most because she really like there were a couple punches that she landed that just they didn't seem like normal like normal kind of like safe
No, at
punches.
one point, she just steps on Io's head.
Yeah, she's put
Both feet on her head.
her entire body weight on Io Sky's head and it just was like, why? Come on. Like I don't want to see like she just seemed like fucking vicious, dude. And I loved it, but I also, like I said, my same opinion where it's like I love to see the little bit of the blurring of the lines, but I don't want to see EO get hurt, you know? So,
Neither do I, but I also am noting that over the past month, she has taken an inordinate beating. I'll have you remember, and you probably need no help in remembering the insane dragon screws that Stephanie gave her at WrestlePalooza.
yeah.
Just last Monday on Raw, on the Go Home show, Kyrie slammed the back of her head on the edge of the apron in just an absolutely heinous spot. And then you have Asuka here just basically stepping on her head with both feet. I don't know if like we're trying to break Io, but I feel like the woman definitely deserves at least a couple of weeks off. And then other than that, I thought just a minor note. I think that the match had kind of an interesting structure. Usually, so the big story here is that Io is conflicted over how much to engage Asuka,
Mm-hmm.
and whether or not there's any hope for them to reconcile their differences. So, Io is the focal babyface here, and kind of like the AJ Lee match last month. Usually, the person who's kind of at the center, who has the most anticipation to enter the match because of just the feud, how the feud is structured. Usually, they're the one that serves as the hot tag. But Io spent a lot of this match getting the shit kicked out of her and taking the heat, and then Rhea ended up being the hot tag, which makes sense because we're in Australia and she is like the hometown girl.
I am kind of bummed by that though, because I wanted to see more Asuka and Rhea.
Yeah,
I think those two are really like perfect, like GM mode
I
matches.
think
Like
they're withholding that one intentionally.
yeah, no, totally. I think that, and here's the other thing: Asuka's really like the perpetrator, right? Kyrie's not really. She's just a follower. So you want to have Io really and Asuka because that's the real match.
Right.
But I also didn't like that this match really was Io taking all of the shit and then Rhea Ripley at the end doing like a series of like power moves and her signature moves and then kind of setting it up for Io.
Yeah.
It's like you said, I know, we're in Australia, totally. But like from the story perspective, like it felt like Rhea was just like was like a get out of jail free card for Io
Right.
and Io doesn't need it. Io absolutely could have won this match and by being backed up by Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, well, it kind of like you mentioned just a few seconds ago that your mind went to the future feud of Rhea and Asuka, but the story they're telling is Io and Asuka, and so I think there was a little bit of dissonance between the need to showcase the homegrown talent,
Mm-hmm.
but also um, to push the story along.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to forgive that because ultimately I looked at this and it goes, these are four women who are really good at what they do, beating the bejesus out of each
Just
other. And
Yeah,
what's not to love about that?
totally.
And also, I'm coming off of the Cena match, and I'm just feeling I'm just feeling like this wrestling nirvana as a fan that I don't feel usually at these types of shows,
Yeah.
just because,
Not a crown jewel usually.
for all the reasons that you can imagine. Usually, I spend a lot of time this past year being a jaded WWE fan, so I was really just basking in like a moment of just unfiltered glee at what I was seeing. And I forgave it, but I think going forward, I think it much like the Jey Uso thing and the Bloodline and the Vision and all that kind of like logjam. I think they need to figure out the lanes that all these people are going in, and
Yeah.
because Survivor Series is coming up, and I start to think, that's a 5-on-5 match between,
Hmm.
like there's one for the women, there's one for the men, and it just gets me thinking around this time of year, like what is that 5-on-5,
Hmm.
and I can come up with some stuff with some permutations, but none of them feel cohesive
Hmm.
because you have all these discordant storylines. So, maybe the fact that we kind of have John Cena in this like separate universe here where we're just kind of celebrating wrestling and him, and that's what we're going to do with it. And we can have that be separate from all of these other actual kayfabe storylines. Maybe that provides a little clearer roadmap. But I definitely think that the four women that are involved here, at least three of them, will be involved in that Survivor Series for the women. But even still, it's going to require, filling out that match with some other competitors and really making that feud clear and compelling. And I feel like they still have some work to do with that. But for now, I mean, I really just I just always love watching these four work. These are four of my favorite women on the roster, and just watching them have a spot here is great. So that's really all I have on it.
Yeah, it was a dream match, GM mode match.
Dream GM mode match, and we got probably not a legendary, but I'd give it like a classic.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so main event time, and when it's main event time in WWE, you know what that means? It means Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. You didn't think you were going to end the show without me, did you? Not
I thought Cody was cute in this one. I
great attire from him.
Yeah, I thought he came out looking really sharp, and I guess now I know probably why he tried so hard, because
That's right.
he doesn't go under very
No,
often.
because he had to hide his boo boo job face.
Yeah, he really did, and so he had to come out looking like a star, and he did.
Yeah.
But we will say, uh, I think both of us made a comment about this.
Oh,
Your
yeah. Let's talk about this.
I don't want to talk about it forever.
No, just briefly. But we always point out that he has a top guy look. He has a top guy song, top guy chants. But the video package.
The video package that plays behind him is unreal. It looks like he designed it himself with like Print Shop Deluxe 1998. And like the Windows icon that spins, like
Right.
that's the Cody Rhodes like graphic design.
We came up with a theory last night because we watched it, and we just every time he comes out, we always say he still has that video package. And so we finally came up with a theory that this is something that he made when he was on his indie run. And they have probably tried to convince him to not use it anymore and to update it, but he might have like some sort of sentimental attachment to it. And you're like, no, this is when I was making my own way, and I want to keep it because it reminds me of what was on the come up. And I mean, it's the only justification for just like the truly low rent, small time graphic design is my passion look to that video package.
And it's like the bad flag, like
The
flowing
awful
in the back.
font and the way that the elements move just is very like I used to do stuff like that in like Premiere Pro where
Or
you
like
like go
Flash.
by frame, and it was like a little too fast and it looked like you did it manually, and
Yeah,
truly awful. Truly, please update it, Cody. We know you listen to everything.
I just think that like with his accolades and how big he is, like it's shocking to me that like nobody has convinced him
Yeah.
to like do an upgraded, cooler version of that. Like
Yeah.
he could do so much with it, and yeah. But anyway, I maybe it's one of those maybe it's a Marina Shafir moment where it's kind of cute that it's so bad because
He won't fix it until the heel turn, which is
yeah,
reason 1772 to wait for the heel turn.
yeah, exactly. Maybe it's just like charmingly bad until then, and we just have to wait. But yeah, anyway.
So this match was, for the first half of it, I thought pretty much what every match that they've had was. It was a Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins match. They were doing their shit, and then at a certain point, it just went into crazy high spotville. There were some moments in here that were truly breathtaking. Just for the sake of the frame of the match, I want to note that right around the midpoint, Seth, who comes to the ring wearing the Rolex that apparently Cody gifted to him after WrestleMania 40, and that being a symbolic thing of their friendship and him wanting to, harken back to that. His whole attire was apparently a mixture of all the different attire that he wore for the three losses that he took. I'm not as much of a mark to be able to like really catch that, but I'll take everyone's word on that one. So I want to point that out because that will come back in later in the finish. Two spots that I want to highlight at the end of the match here. Um, One was a coast to coast headbutt. So Seth climbs to the top rope of one turnbuckle. Cody is on the other opposite end, hanging from the turnbuckle, and Seth jumps the entire length of the ring into a headbutt, no hands, racing him.
Oh no.
Impact, he lands more into his shoulder, but even the way that he
It's
lands,
like
he kind of like comes down onto his shoulder, and it was just like
it's like a Chris Benoit.
a, a who? Well, now we're gonna have to delete the podcast.
No, sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. It's a flying Chris Benoit headbutt. I'm sure Seth would love that. But I just thought that it was because usually that spot was made famous by Vince McMahon's son because it would be a drop kick.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what I was expecting because this was a night of homage moves.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's gonna do the coast to coast drop kick, and then he did a fucking headbutt, and I was like, my God, man.
Yikes.
I have here fuck with three U's. And then one of the leading up to the final to the finish of the match. In fact, no, this one got a 2 count. An avalanche crossroads. So a crossroads off the fucking top rope.
Oh.
Yeah, into into a 2 count. I just have my lord, my lord. So this match was a standard Seth Rollins Cody Rhodes match until it wasn't, and then it kicked into overdrive out of fucking nowhere. And then we have the finish of Seth, who originally refused to use the watch to gain the advantage, eventually succumbing to the temptation, grabbing the watch, wrapping it around his fist when the referee wasn't looking, clocking Cody Rhodes while he had him in the crossroads, seemingly to finish the match. He gives him a stomp and then a stomp from the top rope, and then the 3 count to win the match, to win the Crown Jewel championship, and to apparently begin his like reign of supremacy over the WWE. And that's how we end the show until Stephanie Vicaire spawns in out of nowhere. And then they end up sharing the stage together, which you could kind of see a little bit of like conflicted.
Did Triple H lean in and
Yes.
kiss and hug them both, or
Yes,
just?
yes. He gave him like the grandfatherly embrace.
I hate that.
Yeah.
It's to me. If I could, I know I keep talking directly to wrestlers who will never, and owners that will never listen to this, but
No, I'm here.
but please don't do that anymore. It reminds
You don't
me.
like that?
it really reminds me of, it actually is like very, I don't want to say the word triggered, but like I described it as like having like a boss that just like touches you
Yeah.
inappropriately, and it's like it doesn't matter if you're on a wrestling promotion or you're in an office or, you know, whatever, but like there is no reason that you can't just secure things down with like a handshake and a friendly point and a you know what I mean, like a
Right.
hey, this guy just won, or you know, good job, handshake, handshake, and that's it. Like
Right.
I truly do not understand this like kiss on the forehead, long 7 second embrace. Like I absolutely, it's so hard for me to watch.
Right. The grandfatherly embrace. And even more so when you have this match where the kayfabe stakes are the soul of the company.
Yeah.
So it just feels odd for the person that runs the promotion to come out and really treat this more like a contest.
Yeah.
You know, it's sometimes I wish they would stick to the stakes that they create. I think that it's, you know, they have this very strange relationship with kayfabe where it's dead until it isn't, but but it's also dead. Like we're going to utilize it when we want to, but then at the same time we're going to basically disarm it. And I wish they would be consistent one way or another with how they kind of um, protect the business, so to speak. So I think that stuff like this kind of weirdly undercuts it. I think you could see in Seth's face that he was at one point, you know, happy, more than happy to be sharing the ring with Stephanie Vicaire, but also maybe a little conflicted because it is kind of weird to see you know, in that moment, you're supposed to be the guy that's like the conqueror,
Right. Right.
you know, but then like you
It's like,
have
oh,
like,
you both won the contest of the big Julie thing, and
right, but then you have like Stephanie Vicaire who's just there and, you know, not involved in the storyline at all. And
funny.
you know, and she's just like, yeah, I don't know. It was a little odd, a little odd shot to go out on. But I thought much more satisfied with this match than I was with the Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre
Yeah.
uh, main event from last month. And I think for something that's is essentially a one-off. It's kind of like Forbidden Door for AEW, where we have these like little side quest pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's absolutely this. I think that they did a good job of really quickly building up some compelling stakes for this match. With, you know, Seth's control of the vision being called into question. And I think that these guys showed something new, and which I think is difficult because, you know, these guys have been feuding since the very beginning of Cody coming to the company.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's all I could have asked for. And in general, I think that, like I said at the top, this was a step in the right direction. I think we're still missing a lot of that like storyline cohesiveness, but this one really brought the energy that I expect for these type of shows. So it'll be interesting to see how things go moving forward. Do you have any parting thoughts on Crown Jewel in Perth?
No, I'm glad it wasn't in Saudi Arabia, and
Well, get ready because we're gonna have
I
the
know.
Royal Rumble's coming around, and eventually, like every show's gonna be in Riyadh, probably.
I know.
Hopefully, it doesn't become too dominated by Saudi Arabia because I do love the stateside shows. I do love some evening wrestling. You know, morning wrestling is great because you get it out of the way and you can continue to have your day and it doesn't kind of like, you know, take up your entire afternoon and evening. But at the same time, um, I think American crowds have a lot to make up because I feel like we've really been exposed by these international crowds and just how much energy they provide. But yeah, with that, that is the conclusion of our look and our thoughts on Crown Jewel. And that's going to do it for episode 3 of the Shootnami. Thank you again, Caitlin.
Thank you, John.
I really appreciate talking with wrestling with you and watching it every week. And I appreciate you all joining us for it. So until next time, have a good night and we'll talk to you soon.